welcome to Solitude Acres. I'm Kira, and just if you're new to our channel, just so you know, we are a beekeeping family and also do some gardening and ambience videos and other things. And if you have been a subscriber to our channel for a while, then you probably have seen our video back in December where we were here with my cousin Kristen. We're visiting her. It's now around Memorial Day week, and we're visiting her and seeing what all she's got going in her garden back here. I wanted to share with my cousin Kristen a little bit about what's been going on with me the past 5 months, 6 months since we were here. Because we were here around Christmas time. Our gardens have definitely changed a lot since then. We've had a lot more going on. Around February, I started looking in some books that I had that showed kind of like that companion planting, because I like to see what herbs and what flowers grow good around the vegetable garden and really help to either stimulate the other, the vegetable growth, or to prevent as many pests. So what I decided to do is look through a couple of my books and then just start writing down the vegetables that I knew I really wanted to grow, and then the things that would grow good around them that I would prefer to have. So if it was an herb that I would use, like oregano or parsley or whatever, then I would make sure that if that was a companion plant to something, that I would write that down. And so I just kind of made that of a plan. And then I drew out my raised beds, because I don't have a big humongous rectangle garden like she does. And I just basically drew out my little bots and then just said, okay, this is how much I want of this plant. This is how much I want of that plant. When you have a smaller space, you really have to be strategic. You know that those plants are going to get bigger, and you know that whatever you have, you're going to really want, you're going to really use. I don't know if that butterfly came in the shot or not. So yeah, we decided to go ahead and plant some onions. Onions always seem to grow really well, so I just planted them in April. We're like a month or two behind you, so whatever you do, we can do a little bit later. But yeah, we did it in the spring. I heard that parsley grows well with onions, so I went ahead and put some parsley on both sides of that raised bed. I don't know if this was true. I heard something conflicting about this with the companion planting, but I heard that the bush beans that you had given me, I don't even know if you remember giving them to me. Nope. But there was a packet of bush beans that you gave me. So I planted them in the same raised bed as the onions.
See that?
Yes. Mosquitoes are everywhere out here, y'all, so just bear with us. Like banana peppers, those always grow well. They're really good, and they can get pretty long. My mom and I split some peppers, and I don't know if hers are still alive anymore. I will be doing a video about this, but we had a pretty bad hailstorm at my parents' house. They got really beat up, and I don't think that Mom and Dad's plants survived that. At my house, though, we did not have a heavy hailstorm, so all my baby plants were fine. But I do have 2 red bell peppers, 2 jalapenos, and then I think it's 2 orange bell peppers. Those I have in those individual pots, because you told me that I guess the peppers do pretty good in pots, like brand new pots. So I'm testing that out this year to see how that works.
Fresh soil.
And just to give them their own kind of space where they're not like with other things, because that's never really worked for me. You gave me some peas, which I had never grown green peas before, but I have green pea pods. I'm so excited. I've never grown green peas before. So
it's like sweet peas.
Yes.
Okay.
The ones in the pods that you pop out.
Okay.
Because you said you would can those last year, and you said you didn't care for the taste. Like I kind of had that burnt.
Sugar content.
Yeah, you
tasted a little burnt after canning.
So but you can freeze them. Yeah, we'll freeze them, and I'll share some with Mom and Dad too. But I do have some beets. The first bit of beet seeds that I planted didn't come up. I probably didn't water them enough initially. I have one really good one, and then I planted some other small ones after that when that first initial seeds didn't come up. So there will be some late growing beets. I have 1 cucumber plant, and then we have 1 zucchini plant. You know, those big ones that spread out.
They get huge.
In a raised garden, I just don't have the space. So the cucumber and the zucchini was all my big ones that I could really have space for. I have some dill planted next to my zucchini, and then some oregano next to the beets and the cucumber, because supposedly those 2 herbs help with the bugs that go after the zucchinis and the bugs that go after cucumber. I have 3 tomato plants because I wanted to do canning tomatoes for like spaghetti sauce. So they're kind of like Romas. They're called San Marzinos. They're supposedly sweeter and less acidic. So I've never done them before. They're starting to grow really well. So I got a canner because she suggested me to get a canner, and I use all my birthday money and a little bit extra to buy that honking thing that's humongous. It's like my Instapot could fit inside this thing. It's so big. And then I really would, when I get home, I really would like to do we're in peach and strawberry season. So I would really love to can some peaches and
water bath them.
I have to look at the directions. There's so much instruction in that book that it makes me nervous. Like, I don't know which way. I'm just going to follow the instructions. How do you do this type of fruit or vegetable? Because I don't know.
I think all fruits are water bath.
I do not like canned peaches at the store. Like, if I eat peaches, I want it to taste like peaches, like that are fresh off the tree. Because where we are, peaches are really a big thing. Like, if I want to make a peach cobbler in December, I just want to make a peach cobbler.
That's how I feel about blueberries.
Oh, yeah.
Like, I want fresh blueberries.
So I'm planning to do some strawberries, peaches, hopefully when I get back and experiment. And hopefully I do it right, because they're too expensive to when you buy fruit like that, it's too expensive to mess up.
Okay, so what we have going on here, it's not as much as it was last year. I felt like I always experimented with new stuff, like the lima beans and stuff last year. But we just did our potato harvest, and we have beans. We call them Big Mama beans. We have some jalapeno plants, tomatoes, garlic. I just pulled up maybe 8 cabbages the other day and cooked those. And they were small though. 2 of them were a nice size, and then the rest of them were small, but nothing goes to waste. And then let's see, tomatoes, some flowers, and that's pretty much it this year. It's not a lot. Like last year we had those, what is it? It's like the tomato, in the nightshade family, I think, and it tastes like pineapple.
Oh, you said something about that.
I didn't do any of that kind of stuff this year because we ventured off into...
Wasn't it pineapple zucchini or something like that? I can't remember what you said.
I did can zucchini and turned it into pineapple zucchini.
Oh, okay,
but
I remember you saying that.
I have a shorts video on it.
Oh, maybe it'll come to
We
you.
didn't grow those this year. Reagan was the one that planted those. He might have done that at home because he's done some stuff at home this year. But it's a small year this year because I knew that I would be busy because we ventured off into keeping chickens and raising chicks, all that kind of stuff. So I have been really busy with that. So I knew a lot of my focus would not be out here. And plus last summer, it was so hot that I told myself I'm not gonna do anything during the summer because it's more miserable. The mosquitoes are really bad around here, yellow flies, horse flies. So then I've got my 2 kids who
keep you very busy.
Yeah. So I wanted to focus on the chickens this year and really kind of put my focus into that. And then we also have our land, our new homestead that we've been working on. So that's taken a lot of time because that's where Steven spends all of his time, which means I'm watching the kids. So it's kind of hard to do all that kind of stuff, but it's okay. It's just for a season. But that's all we have going on in the garden. I did plant sunflowers. They were all coming up. They were like this tall. Came out here one day and they were all gone. And when I noticed that, I also had a big chunk. You could tell something was eating a cabbage. So something was able to...
A rabbit, probably?
Or a squirrel. I don't know, something was able to get through the chicken wire, not under it. They had to either go over or they could fit through it. I was thinking for a second we had baby rabbits in the garden because we do have rabbits back there.
We do have a rabbit or 2 as well, but they've never seemed to go after the garden. And I don't know if that's because they're in raised beds or because they have so many other like dandelions and other things in my yard, because I let all those dandelions grow because I'm a full believer in feeding the bees with dandelions. So I'd really try not to kill them. So I don't know if they're eating something else because they're in my neighbor's yard too. But you had a video that you just did that was about all your potato harvest. So make sure you check out her channel. I'm going to link her channel because you definitely want to see what else she grew
that
with
was
the potatoes.
Our largest harvest yet. We did red potatoes, the golden potatoes, and then Purple Majesty. Reagan bought those, and then I bought the other variety, and we just planted 3, I think like 48-foot long rows, and we ended up getting 261 pounds from the ground. And then I planted all of Grandmama's pots with the rest of the potatoes, and she said she got like 3 black buckets worth. I weighed what that would be, and that'd be anywhere from 30 to 40 pounds. So right under 300 pounds of of potatoes. Yeah, and they actually did not have any bug damage.
That's good.
Last year we had
That's
some
good.
bug damage on some.
Speaking of potatoes, I did want to mention that we actually did plant potatoes at my parents' because they have these big, huge crates. The guy who sells us some bees, he has these big, huge wooden crates that he ships bees in. We did have a small little harvest last year of only like 10 or 11 pounds.
That was fun though.
But it was fun. It was fun, and to see it. So we actually did about double that this time. So we just did the basic russets. Do any other kind. If I had more space and I had a couple more of those big crates, then I would definitely have potatoes.
We wait till the plant completely dies and it's like the stems are brown. There might be a little bit of green on the leaves, but I've noticed like some people that I know around here that have planted potatoes, they may harvest theirs too early.
We did it, it was, I think it was September, October that we harvested them.
Oh, wow.
So we grow them all summer. That's how we did it last time and it worked.
Oh, wow. And we plant ours near Valentine's Day and then harvest May.
So you're earlier than...
A lot earlier.
Mm-hmm.
Wow.
I think it was September. Or we're 10 degrees cooler. You're 10 degrees warmer than us on average. Doesn't always mean that, but I think the humidity and all that. So
the temperature right now, it's 80 degrees and it's 8:30 in the morning. And it's supposed to get to like 90 today.
That's why we're doing this.
Not even June.
That's why we're doing this now. We have to live in tropical climates down here.
I came out here at 6 o'clock this morning and it felt really good. And I was like, Kira should be here now.
I was sleeping. 6 o'clock. Yes.
Yeah, we'll get chickens and you'll be up.
So I did want to talk about elderberry too. I didn't realize how big and potentially invasive this elderberry is because I saw it growing along the road, no joke, all the way from where we live, all the way down here, and I see it along the road. Like we were driving around town, I'm seeing it because now I know what it looks like. And it has this big, lush bouquet of white flowers.
Yeah, there's some over there.
Yep. The berries will start coming in after the flowers get brown.
I was wondering. I was going to ask you about that.
Yeah, there's some on.
You see some berries?
Right there. That's what they are. They're green, and then they'll turn purple.
I thought those were going to be flowers that haven't opened up yet.
No, those were flowers that have gone. See the brown?
Oh, my word.
Yeah. Mine is insane. If I let it, it would probably grow taller than the house.
Yeah, because you sent me a picture, and it was like as tall as
it was literally, it was this big in 2020, and within 4 years, and I've cut back from it too, and it still is really long. Like it just literally grows feet every year.
Well, these have doubled since January.
I'm telling you.
Because these were like a bush size.
You will have to cut them back every year. And when I say cut them back, like cut off big pieces at a
Major
time.
pruning.
Because it will grow that much every year. Supposedly there's other versions of elderberries that people have like up north that are actually more like a bush, like a blueberry bush type thing. I don't know where this version of elderberry originated because it is a little bit invasive. Like I had to warn her that mine has actually come... That scared me. It was like coming up out of nowhere. It's kind of windy. Might get some storms here later, so.
I hope so. We need the rain.
Yeah, we do down here. I noticed that y'all are pretty dry, so I'm like, for gardener, if you're a fellow gardener, you feel for the person who needs rain for their garden, because you know stuff's not going to grow as well. Anyways, it will plant its own plants from the roots. Like it will just pop up.
Oh, wow.
So you will have to watch that. I mean, like anywhere and everywhere.
Interesting.
Let's switch to bees for a second.
Okay.
So our bees survived the winter. We didn't really have a harsh winter, so that was good. There's always a chance of you losing bees over the winter time, but thank goodness we didn't. In January and February, we start feeding them like sugar water because you want to, when there's no nectar and pollen yet, you just want to start getting them active and start boosting their productivity about creating comb because you want them to create comb and have plenty of reserves for them to give them energy before they go out and start really foraging when the trees start, blooming. March, I guess the flowers started coming out and that you start seeing them being more active. We have had some issues, which will be on some videos here shortly that I will post, that we had some pest problems. We've dealt with a little bit of hive moth issue, which can basically make the bees swarm and leave. It's not taken care of. We're starting to deal with some hive beetle issues. There's some things that we're going to have to do to treat some pests that are common with beekeeping. We did save a swarm. The bees in early April out of one hive tried to swarm because they feel really antsy in April. They're growing their colony. They're starting to, like, the queen's starting to lay. more, and so they grow. When they feel like they're going to outgrow their space, they will actually leave.
Is that the video that you had?
The queen will just
that
leave.
was interesting to watch.
It was intense. The fact that we had that one swarm, Dad happened to take a Thursday off, and I happened to be there with my son. We were doing some other things, working on some other stuff with their garage or whatever. We looked and the bees were fine around, I don't know, like noon, and then it was like 2 or 3 o'clock, and I was actually getting ready to leave, and he said, look at what's going on out there. And you could see them, all the bees, a lot of the bees were like coming outside and just like hanging all over the front of the hive. And then they just start like going in the air, and it literally was thousands of bees like all up in the air, and you can kind of see them doing this thing. And then I noticed they were going over the fence. We didn't know where they were going to go because there's trees back behind my parents' fence. And they happened to go to a tree that was literally like 10 to 20 feet away from the fence, which is uncommon. Normally they will go up in whatever tree high up above, and you might not be able to grab them, right? Sometimes they swarm lower, but what they're doing is when they swarm, the queen will go, and basically a lot of them will stay right around her and protect her, and then there'll be scout bees that will go and try to find a new home. Wow. So it's like they rush to get out, they rush to stay around her and protect her, and then the scout bees will be like, hey, let's try and find us a new home. It was intense. It was like our adrenaline was not because they're stinging, they're actually very docile. A lot of people with swarms actually handle them barehanded. I wouldn't do that, but they say that when they're swarming that they're very calm, and they were. It just took a lot because you don't want to damage any of them. You don't want to hurt or kill the queen when you're trying to gently pull them off tree branches and stuff, because you don't know always where she's at.
Oh, you have to like physically
you have to take her,
oh my word,
and you have to put her in the box because they'll follow her, because she has pheromones that they follow. So we did save a swarm, so that was a victory. We've split 2 other hives to prevent them from swarming. So if you split and basically break some of them out ahead of time and get them a new queen, they won't jump to swarm as quick. We did, right before we left home, pull some honey. We have not extracted it yet. We harvested 9 frames of honey before we left. There will probably be, I'll say 5 to 8, hopefully, that we will get when we get back home, because some of them weren't completely sealed yet. The comb wasn't completely capped, as they call it. We've had some bumps in the road. A couple of our strongest hives ended up being our weaker hives, or they're not probably going to produce anything, but they were our power hives last year and made tons of honey. And then we've got a few new little hives that we made that are super productive and just like growing. We have a total of 8.
Oh my word.
We went from 4 at the beginning last year, a year ago, to 8. Couple of them, we bought 2 new hives, and then 2 of them were actually a swarm. One was a swarm and one was a split. So
and how much honey did y'all get last year?
We got like 11, I think it was 11.5 pounds of honey this year. That was out of 5 frames. So we already have 9, and we're hoping that we have, I would love to say we would have 5 to 6 more. So we could have
triple the amount,
hopefully.
And then if you were to put that into quart jars or pint-sized jars,
it's hard to say, because, you know, like last year, we didn't have all the same size jars. We had some that were tomates, the small ones for people, and then we had bigger ones. So, like, I don't know if unless we'd, like, sell it or give it away to people, you know, somewhere in pints, somewhere in tiny little jars. So, in comparison, I'm not really sure. It's ounces written on the bottles. It's actually, you know, like, if you were to sell it, it has to be ounces based off pounds, not fluid ounces. I don't know. It's a little different.
Sounds like a lot of hard
work.
So
she's almost finished her honey, and then she wants more. So I told her, well, she'd have to wait till Christmas time. Probably.
I'm out of honey. I gotta get some. There's a guy at our church that sells it. He'll have some in June, so I'll probably get some from him to last. But yeah, I need some.
By the time you finish that honey, maybe we'll have ours.
I'll trade with you. Trade something.
There we go. Yeah. We're gonna take y'all and walk y'all around the garden. Right now it's sprinkling, but the main thing we want to talk about,
chickens, and I'll keep it short because I do want to do a full video about the chickens. But we got 10 chickens from my Uncle Stanley, and we call him Santa Claus because he's also Santa, and he had like over 100 chickens at one point. He'll be moving soon, I think, so he gave me some chickens, and then he brought his daughter some chickens that lives down here. And so I got 10, and we get really pretty eggs. We get green eggs. Some of them have, one of them has like a pink,
I've heard of those,
tint to it. Brown eggs, and then even like some of them, or one of the eggs even looks like a light blue color. That comes from the Easter eggers, I
Yes,
guess.
yep.
And then we adopted a chicken, so that makes 11. Her name's Beaky, and we got that from my mom's neighbor because she didn't need her anymore because her companion had died.
Oh.
So she was lonely, and she knew I would take care of it. So we got Beaky, and she gave me her coop, which is one of those $300 coops from Tractor Supply.
Oh, yeah.
And I was like, if I take her, I got to have something to keep her separated from the other ones, because you have to
integrate them slowly, right?
Yes.
Yeah.
Well, come to find out, Beaky is the bully.
Oh.
And none of mine ganged up on her or anything. They did not peck at her, nothing. She has been the mean one.
Oh.
But I think they're good now. I had to keep her separated even longer than I thought. So they're good. And then we had the chicks from Tractor Supply. That, I think I have a little bit of PTSD from that. I'm not even kidding, because the other day I was like, oh, we could get some more chicks. And then immediately I got like so much anxiety. Because they all say on YouTube you can raise them inside until you move them outside. Don't do it. Do not raise them inside. If you do it for maybe 2-3 weeks, you're not going to want to do it more than that. But I had to do it a little bit longer because I did not have the coop to put them in. I had nowhere to put them because you can't throw them with the big chickens. So I had to figure out something. They ended up staying inside longer. And then on YouTube, they tell you to get like certain chicken brooders. I do not recommend the large plastic totes. Don't do that. And then another popular YouTube channel, she has like this mesh tent material.
Oh, yeah,
and
like
it's
a
like
baby,
an
like
octagon.
a baby thing. Yeah.
I don't recommend that at all, because once they get 2 weeks old, you unzip it to clean it out, they jump out. So then you got like chickens everywhere.
In your house.
Yeah, and it's not high enough. So like
so they'll jump out.
They'll jump out, but then once they get a certain size, they just feel like crowded in there. That was horrible. And then if you have a dog, definitely don't, because we lost 2 of the chicks because our dog had stepped over on the mesh. So it's not a hard frame.
Oh.
So I'll do a whole video on that. We lost 2 of them because of that, but we learned our lesson, and that's why I'm gonna make a video to tell others. It's not gonna be like the happiest chicken video, but it's gonna be the truth, because I've never seen any videos about like the warnings. But now they are all outside. And it was such a glorious day when we moved them out. The biggest weight was lifted off my shoulders. I was stressing about it because I don't like, it didn't smell in the house, but it did smell like an pet store. Because you have like the pine shavings.
Yeah.
I clean the shavings every day, scoop them out. They got fresh water every day. But anytime you have animals in there, and then chickens create a lot of dust. So that was another thing. Like after we moved them out, I mopped the ceiling, I mopped the walls twice, all the windows, the blinds, cleaned those off, cleaned in the closets, because the dust will make their, even though I kept the closet door shut, dust gets in there.
Wow.
So now the room is perfectly clean again, but they're all outside. And yesterday we got 10 eggs from the 11 grown hens. And of course the smaller ones aren't laying eggs yet, but it's not like one of those really pretty chicken coops that you see on Pinterest. It's just what we could throw together. Everything was recycled or free, and the only thing we had to buy was like some hardware. So it's not perfect, but it works. Once we move to our new homestead, we want like a really pretty,
nice one.
Yeah, really pretty chicken coop. And then I've still got to clean up back there, but I'm limited to when I can do that. It's either early in the morning or in the evenings. During the day it gets so hot, and then if Steven's gone to work, the kids want to follow me outside, and then they get attacked by mosquitoes. So I'm limited when I can actually do what I want to do until the fall when it cools off.
Did you pick eggs already?
Not yet.
Okay.
So if you can hear that, that's a chicken that just laid an egg.
Yeah.
It's like their egg song.
It keeps going.
I don't know how long it lasts, but I think she already laid the egg. And they do that after.
That's her victory song.
Yeah.
I did it. I did it.
So we got an egg. Okay. We might have 2 eggs by now.
Well, I want to pick them up because I'm excited.
Oh, we got 3 girls. Oh, Okay, girls. There's 2 eggs. They're like, what are you doing? Okay, I'll let y'all go. Isn't that fun? Which one did she lay? I don't know. Oh, that one's really warm. She's fussing at us.
Probably. See if she'll stop.
Yeah,
As long as there's no snakes back there.
Yeah, we found a couple of snakes. One of them was over across the street, and they threw it in the road, and then someone ran over it. It was in like their pile for the trash pickup. It was a big snake, but it was like a rat snake. So I was like, oh man, because you don't want to kill them. Yeah. But you just want to relocate them far away. So
I mean, they have a purpose keeping like rodents out of that area too. So it's like kind of hard because you're like,
yeah. But every time I open the thing, I'm very careful whenever I pull it down. I just don't like open it and put my face right there.
Right.
So I am really careful. And then when I walk, I'm always looking at the ground now. Because when I ran into that one, I wasn't looking at the ground. I just was like, turned the corner and there it was. I could talk for a long time about the whole chickens thing. Everyone is like, let's go get some chicks from Tractor Supply. It's going to be so easy. No.
Well, I've heard that when people do that, they can get a lot of roosters and not get hens. So
they have them separated, like straight runs are called is what roosters are, and then you have the pullets. And I got pullets, but you can still get a rooster possibly. And I think I may have one just because its voice sounds a little bit deeper. And I told Steven it sounded like it tried to crow one day when we were inside, and it was like like
it was trying out its voice.
It was loud and it was one of the younger ones.
Okay.
So I've got 2 different ages, a couple of weeks difference.
Well, maybe you will have a rooster. Maybe it'll be a nice one. I have heard some roosters can be crazy mean and some of them can be super sweet.
Yeah, and then it's also got like a larger comb. Oh. And one of them's the tail feathers look different.
That probably
so
will
the
be a
tail
rooster,
feathers
then.
are like this.
It'll probably show you here shortly what it is.
And I don't know if I'm going to keep a rooster. I don't know. I don't know if I want one or...
The only thing I've heard that are good about roosters, if they're not mean to you and they're, you know, nice, that I have seen video of some roosters going after snakes.
Yeah, they'll protect their hens.
They're really good about some protection. So
I can get some good video of a rooster chasing the kids.
Hopefully it'll be a nice rooster.
Yeah, that would be good.
Well, that was a lot to talk about today, but it was good to catch up with Kristen and to do our now annual or biannual, depending on how often we meet, garden chat. Not only talking about gardens, but the bees and chickens. Those are always fun to chat about. So thank you for watching today. If you are still with us and have gotten to the end of this video, make sure that you like and subscribe. Click the bell for notifications if you are new. That way you can see when we upload. And make sure you follow Kristen and her channel as well, which is Favored Acre Homestead. I will have that linked and we'll have that in the description as well. So make sure you leave us comments. We'll be happy to hear from you. But until next time, we will see you on Solitude Acres. Be blessed.